So I created a schedule of what albums I wanted to listen to on a specific day. So some days have 3 albums and some have 4. And this is something to mark and to keep track of in order for me to be on schedule for the new album release and when I could finish this discography in a week. So here it is. So I listened to 12 Bar Brews, their debut album, and my initial thoughts were it makes sense. They started out with a garage rock type of sound, and it sounds pretty familiar and nostalgic despite me never listening to it. And it just seems to hop onto the trend of garage rock revival in the early 2010s. And it's not bad for a debut, but there were some moments where I thought some of the songs sounded commercial like, and to be honest, I didn't think they seemed to add a lot to the table within this overall scene just because how like trendy it was at the time. And it just was like to get on the board honestly with their debut. And it's cool hearing their debut and where they started out, and just I'm looking forward to witnessing their sound evolution and what makes them unique. I think I have these little breaks every time I listen to an album, just show you some snippets of my little life. I don't really have anything interesting going on. I'm not like going out or anything, but I am playing some Cuphead, little fun break. Haha. I just beat the main game and got the DLC. So, wish me luck. I just beat the Moonshine Mob. So, nice little break. I think I'm gonna go listen to the second album now. So, I just listened to Eyes Like the Sky, and I heard this is the most divisive album, if people love it or hate it. But I think I liked it, but I wouldn't know if I would go back to it that much. Going for an immersive spaghetti western sound for a sophomore album is a pretty bold move. I respect it. It's a cool concept, telling a story and having instrumentation, trying to display it. It's a unique medium. And it's interesting and funny they told a story of the Wild West and the Native Americas, since they're Australian, but it was a cool portrayal of it. I'm not really into this genre of media, but I can respect the artfulness and the aesthetics of it done in this album. And to be honest, I had a hard time paying attention and understanding the story, but overall it was a cool concept. I just don't know if I would go back to it that much. Since I had a degenerate sleep schedule last night, trying to watch Valorant Champions at 1 a.m., it really made me feel very tired today, so I'm going to be taking a nap, and once I wake up, I'm going to be listening to the third album. See you soon. Just woke up from a 30-minute nap, and I just feel even more tired. I don't know why I take naps nowadays. I made myself a sandwich, even though there's pizza. Even though I already ate 2 slices of pizza today, so I feel like a sandwich would be a bit healthier. Well, hope I enjoy this. Well, I finished Float Along, Fill Your Lungs, and it's interesting he started off with a 16-minute song. For me, it takes some time for long songs to grow on me. What I noticed is that King Gizzard albums, sometimes it utilizes separate tracks for each ear on the headphones, and I listen to albums with headphones, and it's a weird feeling and sensation. I feel like unless it's executed properly, I'm not the biggest fan of that style of sound. And they also did this with 12 Bar Brews on another song. And overall, this album feels pretty chill, like it's a summer vacation. But honestly, the music just flew over my head. It sounded like 12 Bar Brews, but more mellow. And I kind of, sorry to say, I'm not the biggest fan of their old music. So today I listened to their first 3 albums. And, not Nonagon Infinity material as a Nonagon Infinity fan, but I'm looking forward to listening to their later albums, and in hopes that I like them more. It's day 2, and it's the morning, around 8 in the morning, feeling good. I think I had more sleep than last night, because I actually didn't wake up to try to watch Champions. Oh well. And I played a bit of Cuphead, feeling good. about to listen to the 4th album. So I just listened to Oddments and I thought it was pretty cute. The sound feels pretty fun, vibrant. I love the cover. It's very colorful and just fits the sound. It's a fairly colorful sound. And the melodies feel more poppy than their past albums, so it's nice how lighthearted it sounds, and I think they kind of venture away from the distorted psychedelic rock sound they're known for, and a bit more of an indie pop rock vibe-ish, which is a nice change. Don't get me wrong, I like their psychedelic rock sounds, but I think it's nice. It's pretty simple and sweet. I don't know what else to say, but yeah. And then I liked Vegemite. That was my favorite track. I actually added that to my playlist. I played some video games. I just got Walking Dead. My first time playing it, as it was on Steam for $1. So it's a pretty cool game so far. I'd never gone into The Walking Dead. I also played some Cuphead, beat the cow plane boss. Pretty good for games right now. On to the 5th album. I listened to I'm in Your Mind Fuzz, and it was a revisit, as I listened to this album a long time ago, but it did not really click with me. And it goes a lot harder than I remembered. I think they used elements of that psychedelic rock sound and cooked. It's engaging and pretty catchy. Each album, right, they release feels like trial and error, experimenting with what works, and I feel like this and Nonagon Infinity, I could see why they're the most critically acclaimed and successful, and they're like examples of sounds that work well for them. It starts off as energetic, but it mellows down towards the end, and I think I preferred the first half over the last, but overall it was a pretty cool album. Well, I'm gonna go shower now, because as I'm going to be documenting every day of my life, I'm not sure how secure I would feel wearing the same shirt for a week. The reason I don't do a lot of these updates like every single day of my life is that in reality my life is actually pretty boring. I just rot in my home all day playing video games and I listen to music. So yeah, I mean, I played some more Cuphead. I tried out this game called Spectre Divide, which is currently in playtest. It's like a new CS-like game. It's cool, whatever. But yeah, on to the 6th album. But as I was editing this video, for some reason, I could not find the footage of me reviewing Quarters, or I'm not sure if I filmed it or not, so might as well review my thoughts now here, so make sure I don't miss an album. So Quarters, the format of 4 10-minute songs, was unique to say the least. Like I said, long songs are a grower for me, and to be honest, this album did not feel too substantial or stood out to me that much, to be honest. It felt like elongated ballads, and that type of sound isn't really for me. And it's a cool concept having 4 songs that are the same length, and the cover split into 4 different art pieces, but it came off as a bit gimmicky to me. So yeah, sorry, not my thing. It's 6 o'clock. I'm now going to listen to the next album, Paper Mache Dream Balloon. And, you know, I procrastinated. I just rotted all day playing video games. Same old, same old. Well, let's get on to it. So, I just listened to Paper Mache Dream Balloon, and I really like the sound of this. The more acoustic pop sound direction sounded really good on them, and I like the use of strings and woodwinds and a lot of traditional instrumentation that they used in this album. And it's like different from their typical psychedelic rock sound. It's very cute and melodic. The cover is amazing too. It just gives me nostalgic claymation vibes. I'm pretty sure that was its intention. And it does fit the cover too as well. And I think I got some sort of Beach Boys and Sufjan Stevens influences as well from this. Overall, I really liked this album, surprisingly, and I enjoyed the sound direction they took. And, you know, it was sort of a risk, and I think it paid off pretty well. So, I think I'm actually going out today. My siblings have to take me to church, so there's that. So I think once I come back home, I'm going to start the first album. Listen to Nonagon Infinity, and it felt like a reward. It's my favorite album for a reason. It has the right charm, catchiness, and the concepts to pull off their psychedelic rock sound perfectly. I love how each song flows into each other smoothly and how it loops back to the beginning. It sounds epic, fun. Overall, one quite of an adventure. I just love going back to this album. My only nitpick is that this is their 8th album instead of their 9th, because Nonagon 9. Otherwise, I don't have much else to say. This album got me into them, and I'm already familiar with this album. So it was nice to go back into stuff I'm already familiar with. So I just listened to Flying Microtonal Banana, and it seems like a good follow-up to Nonagon Infinity. It's like a sequel. It feels more funky and a bit more mellow than Nonagon, and I feel like they go hand in hand together due to the similar genres they touch of psychedelic rock. It's cool seeing their evolution, mastering this genre, and how they're honing this genre within these albums. And I also noticed their melodies use a lot of repetition and build-ups. And I don't know what specific music structure it's called, but it sounds like snake charming music, if you get what I mean. But overall, yeah, I like this album. It feels similar to Nonagon Infinity, but I could see a bit of differences in a way. Well, I forgot to film my little review for Murder of the Universe, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's a very epic and edgy title. I like the spoken word lady. This seems like another concept album on who the murderer of the universe is, or like what factors are towards it. And I think they still try to continue the energetic essence of Nonagon Infinity and put it into a different format with these short songs within 3 discs, which is an interesting style. And I thought that the guitar, it feels more prog-like, and it seems like this seems like the start of a prog sound direction they have in their later albums. And I also wondered if they tried different time signatures, because I noticed the melodies sounded very odd and a bit offbeat, so which was cool. And, I like the Nonagon Infinity references and homages too. Overall, it was a pretty cool concept, done pretty well. So I just listened to Sketches of Brunswick East. I just walked the dog, so I'm a bit tired. And, it seems like the start of their psychedelic pop sound outside of Paper Mache Dream Balloon, and leans into its psychedelic elements more. I like how chill and happy this sounds. It makes me want to frolic in the fields. I think I prefer Paper Mache Dream Balloon, but this sound direction is different and pretty fun. I also know some interesting instrument choices like flute in the beginning and a bit of like bells or chimes, whatever type of percussion instrument that is. And always some whimsical choices. And the bass in the album is pretty nice. It's very apparent and groovy. Nice. Overall nice. Okay, I just listened to Polygon Wonderland. Is that how you pronounce it? And it seems like it's heading towards more of a prog direction with a 10-minute song opener. And the build-ups are a bit slow for my liking. It's hard to tell what specific sound it is. They use some acoustic instrumentation, but also have some rock structures in their melodies and vocals. I also notice some synths as well. There's just a lot of variety when it comes to production within this album. And I'm not sure if this album is my thing, to be honest. It confuses me on what it's trying to be. I mean, I wish I could have liked it more, but it just didn't click with me, unfortunately. Oh well. Okay, I just listened to Gumboot Soup, and I thought it felt pretty down to earth. The instrumentation was very diverse, from its psychedelic guitars, flutes, and its bass. I think there's some Beatles influence within the acoustic segments, and it seems to mix up acoustic and psychedelic elements a lot. It just switches between the two a lot, and it flows interestingly. And I think they even experiment with autotune a bit for the song Superposition, which was definitely a different creative decision. I don't know how to feel about this album, since it just feels like a blended soundscape and borderline between acoustic and psychedelic. And I'm not sure, if it's a good, if it's a amalgamation that, fits what type of genre I'm into, because either I'm into their full acoustic stuff or their full psychedelic stuff. So hearing a borderline between that, I just don't know how to feel about it. But yeah. Okay, I just listened to Fishing for Fishies, and it's 7:40 in the morning, so maybe I'm just tired or just very hazy, but I couldn't really remember a lot of it. It didn't really click with me, sorry. I think it had a lighthearted and groovy feel to it. Maybe like I said, I was probably just tired and zoning out, so I had a hard time picking up this specific album, and I think there was maybe some blues influence. The sound is hard to describe. It has some bits and pieces of their previous sounds, but it's not quite exactly like it. And it also feels a bit slow for me, and I think listening to a lot of albums at once just makes me process them badly, so sorry for any Fishing for Fishies fans. I couldn't pick much from this album. Maybe it's just the time and mood. Oh well. Okay, just listen to Infest the Rat's Nest, and a pretty epic album. I forgot to come back to this album as I've listened to this a while ago and I'm now returning to it. It's a sci-fi concept album along with a thrash metal sound, which is pretty awesome. A fresh sound and style that was sudden and pretty welcome. I like the themes it covers, like the end of humanity, the rich, and super viruses that constantly evolve and adapt. These themes are dark yet realistic to humanity, and the thrash metal sound fits the inevitable doom of it all. The vocals are raw, and the production just goes hard. I've been sleeping on this, to be honest. So, I think I'm gonna do a joint little review of KG and LW since they're a bit of like a duology. And for KG, it sounded pretty grand, so it seems like the first half. And it looks like they dive back into their psychedelic rock sound again, and it's hard to describe what's unique about it besides repeating myself. It feels like another repeat of their past albums and not a new sound direction for me. Sorry, I'm just really tired from streaming, so I can't really analyze this album well, and its structures feel varied within each song, which is nice. Like I said, I'm sorry if I'm vague. I just feel like it feels like their past albums and just nothing new to the table. And for LW, it was pretty groovy, and I could see this being KG's counterpart, and they're around the same genres, but I'm not sure which one I prefer. It seems more distorted than KG, while KG feels a bit more acoustic. I'm not sure if this duology is my thing, and like I said, it doesn't feel that unique to me or stands out much. Sorry, man. So I just listened to Butterfly 3000, and this was another album I listened to before the binge that I'm going back to, and it's nice they tried a dream pop / psychedelic pop sound for this. It sounds fun and whimsical. I love the change in direction on this. I get Tame Impala vibes from it. And the melodies are pretty catchy, and I just overall feel pretty drawn to it. It's something I'm familiar with within this genre, and I think they sound good with this sound. So, and the vocals, they feel a bit different, and they're quite falsetto and airy, which is a common vocal style within this genre of psychedelic dream pop, and I just find it a comfortable listen because it's a sound I'm already familiar with and enjoy. Yeah, so I like it. Alright, I listened to Made in Timeland, and it's an interesting format again with 2 tracks that are 15-minute each. And it feels pretty mystical and whimsical, out of this world. It feels like another different sound, which I can appreciate, and I can see some house influences by using repetition of instruments and it being atmospheric. It's cool they dipped into electronic music with this, and just seems like a bit of a start towards this sound. And they touch genres such as acid techno and indie which is pretty awesome. And the build-ups were really nice, and I like the progressions too. And as someone into electronic music, I like their ideas and their takes into it, and that they dip their toes into this genre, which I can appreciate. And I think actually this is pretty underrated. Yeah, I like it. It's tomorrow morning. I forgot to update of last night. I did listen to Omnium Gatherum though, and it was a crazy move to start with an 18-minute opener. There's just a lot going on. It's hard to process. I mean, it's impressive, but it's hard to pinpoint and see if I enjoy it or not. But I don't know how to feel about it. And the dripping tap, it was definitely Journey, but I like the end. It's cool they implement a lot of rock and synths together. It adds to the epicness of it all and utilize a lot of suspense and build up to emphasize itself. I also noticed they swap between the psychedelic pop and the rock sound and metal, and it's very variable and divisive. And also, I didn't expect King Gizzard to have some rap songs with like Sadie Sorceress and another one. It goes hard. I remember just like joking out, it would be funny if they had a rap album, but like, it sounds like they can if they want to. But yeah, it's a cool album. This is day 6. Sorry I've been lazy with updates. I've been losing dedication, but I'm still listening to the albums, don't get me wrong. So I figured I might just do 3 reviews in one take and go from there. So first I listened to Ice Death Planet's Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava, bit of a handful. And it sounds pretty funky and lighthearted. It's just another long album too. It's like over an hour, and I kind of get a Hiatus Coyote vibe from this album. It's like prog R&B / funk sound, and I'm getting from it. And it's cool they try some jazz structures and influences. It feels like a different soundscape on this, and the album definitely has some journeys in it. It's pretty catchy, and I can dig it. And it's pretty long in length, but it's understandable as its progressions and compositions could not be left out. So I feel like I would go back to this. I liked it. Laminated Denim, compared to Made in Timeland with the same format of 2 songs, 15 minutes each, It seems like they're going back to their roots with the psychedelic rock and just jamming out. And it's pretty contrasting to Main Timeline, where it was just electronic and atmospheric. This one's just, their bread and butter, their psychedelic rock and jams. Though it's a nice listen, I don't really have much to say. It just feels like the previous sounds I'm already familiar with. And changes. It's another psychedelic pop album, which is nice, and I like how synthy and chill it is, and definitely has a nice groove to it, and I like the cover, shows their faces and the colorful background with the fisheye angle. It really fits the sound and has a quirky, wonky feeling to it. Not sure if it's my thing, but it was a vibe that was cute to listen to at the time. I think I like their other psychedelic pop albums more. So yeah, that was day 6. And final stretch tomorrow. I really didn't do anything, but I did watch season 4 of The Umbrella Academy. Man, it is so bad. Alright, see you then. Okay, here's another day 7, final day wrap up for this whole King Gizzard binge. I'm gonna start off with Petrodragonic Apocalypse. I don't think I'll say the whole title. So it's nice to go back to thrash metal on this, and it feels like a fantasy counterpart to Infest the Rat's Nest. It feels epic and intense. The vocals having that metal rasp along with the guitar riffs is pretty fitting. It feels like just another thrash metal album, not very different from the others, but it's overall a good addition. I do like their ideas on this and how good they sound with the thrash metal. Anyways, I think I like the last half over the first half. I think it closes out pretty strong. Then we got the Silver Chord. I'm just gonna listen. I listened to the standard edition and just go off from there. I think it's cool they experiment with synths, and it feels loopy and has that retro sci-fi feel to it. And while Infest the Rat's Nest was sci-fi, I think it was more dark and realistic, while this one feels more fun and whimsical. It's pretty catchy and charming. I can definitely see an 80s influence with this, and I remembered I wasn't into it first listen because this is another revisit for me. But I can dig it now. I think they really go heavy into the electronic music for King Gizzard standards, and the rap segments are also pretty fun. It sounds like a soundtrack for a skating or Y2K game. It just has a very nostalgic sound in general. And lastly, the new album, Flight B741. Very brief review since it just came out. It's cool they try another fresh sound with boogie rock. I love the cover. It's so cute with pigs on a helicopter. Yeah, I might be cover of the year, honestly. And I think it has a bit of a country influence and feel to it. It feels pretty down to earth and hearty. I'm not sure if I personally dig this sound, but I respect it. I was drawn by the cover. I like the singles. They went pretty hard, and for some reason I had a hard time analyzing and focusing on this album, but I was overall vibing. But yeah, I finished the King Gizzard's discography. I did it. I'm sorry I've been slacking with the live updates because literally I just stayed home the entire week and did nothing. So yeah, this is what a jobless MF does, okay? I mean, I do have a job interview actually, so wish me luck on that. But yeah, that's my video. Hope you enjoy.